Yo, 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 what is up, everybody? Chris here from Fake Sports News, X Rotation, however the flip you know me on these interwebs. And today I'm going to be bringing you guys something a little bit different. I'm going to be going over our top 10 players from the year 2025. Yes, that being our entirety of the Black Ops 6 season, because obviously, as you guys know, in the calendar year, we had 2 weeks of Black Ops 7 qualifiers in the Monster Invitational. So there isn't really enough to make a comprehensive top 10, but I will take a stab at that later next week in the new year. So, without further ado, let's get into it. We just wrapped up one of the most insane years in CDL history. Thinking back on it, we had insane parity throughout the league. The top 8 and the top 6 has never been more competitive. We've never seen it shift more than it did this year. We had a new number 1 seed to end the season, that being the LA Thieves, usurping our former kings of the CDL, Atlanta Faze, who were the top seed every year, right? Since the inception. So, very interesting year. We had Faze start off very hot as the CDL dynasty, setting the tone for the year, winning majors 1 and 2 after winning EWC the previous summer, of course, in Saudi Arabia. Then the LA Thieves, they came out hot. They won majors 3 and 4 to really send a clear note that they were not a step behind like we thought they were, maybe after their really rough major 1 Game 7, Round 11 matchup loss, and then obviously not making it to the Major 2 finals. Surge made it there. I mean, yeah, they got back. And then Optic, they came out of absolutely nowhere after the month-long break, right? And they won EWC, and then they also won champs right before that. So nobody could run away with it this season. We had a lot of parity. We had 3 teams throughout the year who really cemented themselves as the best team far and away. No one else could get close. It was so interesting and so fun. So let's get into the top 10 players. We, of course, obviously had the Vancouver Surge. They were the Silver Surfers, the Gatekeepers, the Hate Keepers, the Grand Finals getting sweepers. I don't know. They didn't take home a trophy, but they made 4 grand finals, so we have to talk about that as well. There are only 6 grand finals in the year, right? We only have 6 events to look at, and the Vancouver Surge consequently made 67% of them. So how do you even rank the top players in a year like this? Do you guys value the rings? Do you value showing up every single Sunday? What matters to you? For me, it's all about the data. I'm talking the event winners, MVPs, bracket runs, and I built a composite score to run all these numbers and figure out who the top players are. This is not my personal bias. As you guys know, I used to be a Faze fan, but I've since become a casual because I'm an analyst. It's just better to be objective. So this is just the numbers and pure data. So here are the top 10 players of Black Ops 6. Let's get into it. Be sure to leave me some comments down below. I know it'll be absolutely spicy when you guys see my takes on everything. But without further ado, let's kick it off with number 10 himself, Mr. 04. Look, you don't make 4 grand finals on accident. You need someone on the map doing the dirty work, making the plays that convert to wins, and everything does not show up on the stat sheet. Even though Surge couldn't close it out on a Sunday, 04 was a huge reason that they were even there to begin with, right? 4 separate times throughout the season. You got to respect the hustle. The guy was an absolute hoss on the map. He had a .97 KD in hardpoint, which, given his role as an entry, is very, very respectable and very serviceable. His control, he had a .96. Same thing, right? He's an entry player. Anywhere close to a 1, around a 1, typically you're going to be putting in enough damage where your main slayers can pick that up. You just got to play the objectives to win in COD, right? Like, get the time in the hard point, or, cap the points in control, or, now score the overloads. But S&D is where we really know 04 to be an absolute monster. Averaged 6.5 kills a map, which is actually nuts. And he had a .98 KD on the season. Control, obviously, you can see he was averaging 23 a map, which is very, very good. And then hardpoint, he's averaging 26. So he's a 4-time grand finalist, most consistent team appearances, right? I said they made 67% of finals, so they were very, very consistent. They were the World Championship runner-up. They also were runners-up at the EWC. So respect to 04 and the Vancouver Surge on a very solid season. 04, of course, before Neptune came in, was the guy who was turning heads, and then he got a lot of help with the complementary SMG being such a strong slayer. Neptune, obviously one of the best slayers in the league at this current moment, and he cemented himself that way last season after 04. It has to be said, had a really great start to the year. So at number 9, let's give it up for Mr. Dan Ghosty. Of course, Dan Ghosty has become one of the top players in the world over the last couple of years. Obviously, we know he was famously picked up by Optic Texas going into MW2. If you guys missed any of that, I have highlights of that whole season. It was really fun watching Ghosty play with Hook, Shotzi, and Dashi that year. So yeah, honestly, always been a big fan of Ghosty. Got to give it up to the guy. Stat sheet might not always show everything he does, but honestly, he's a hoss on the map. He IGL'd the LA Thieves to 2 championships last year. Even though there's a lot of things that people like to say about Dan and just people like to throw dirt on his name, man. He's a good player, bro. I mean, he keeps his head in the cool moments when you really need him to. He wins these guys games, as we can see with Gentlemates. He's a big causal mechanism that causes teams to have consistent success in Respawn and S&D. And you don't win two events in a game that was as sweaty as Black Ops 6 was without a brain like Dan's on the map. He's the glue guy. He's the big brain. He's the mega IQ, 200 IQ player. Yeah, so his accomplishments on the season definitely point to the fact that he was one of the best players in the game. 2-time major champion, 1-time runner-up, 3 finals on the year, won 2 of them. That's a great hit rate. Season stats, he has a 1.01 in HP, averaging about 25 a map, which is very solid for a support AR, and an IGL, right? Playing that Kenny role. In control, he had a 1.07, so very high KD, 22 a map, and S&D he had a 1.03, and he was averaging 6 a map. So Ghosty had a great season, and LA Thieves consequently had a great one as well. Let's see what he can do on Gentlemates this season. Looking at number 8, we have another guy who is on the LA Thieves now, but was on Atlanta Faze in the year 2025. We have my GOAT, Mr. Abizi. I mean, what can we say about Abizi? We all love him. Number 8. It feels weird having him this low on the list, but that just shows how stacked this list is, right, guys? I mean, Optic got to be somewhere, right? Phase 1, 2 events, and Abizi's the tip of that spear. He sets the pace. He's obviously your entry sub, leading the charge for, at the time, Simp and Celium to just farm as Abizi runs in headfirst and just bashes, right? So if Faze is winning back then, it's usually because Abizi's making the other team very uncomfortable, pushing pace, flipping spawns against Heretics towards the end of the year. But yeah, we're going to negate that. So 2 wins this year puts Abizi obviously in this top 10. I mean, he had a great year, even though it wasn't a typical Abizi like for MVP kind of season. It was a very good Abizi season. Yeah, he looked great for the majority of the year. The end of the year, we're not going to talk about. That's pretty much why he ended up on LA Thieves. But yeah, I mean, Abizi's going to be Abizi. He's a monster, one of the greatest players we've ever seen. I mean, let's look at his stats as an entry SMG. Like, his stats literally make me just lose my mind. So looking at it, he won 2 majors in 2025. He had a great year. Runner-up at Major 4, so 2 for 3. LA Thieves and Faze had the same hit rate in finals. Spoiler alert. Season stats, 0.96 hardpoint KD, average 25 a map. Control 1.07, and he averaged 23 a map, which is very solid. And then in S&D 1.09, averaging 7 a map. God damn, 7 a map is crazy. With a 1.09, Abizi's, he's him. He's still him. You know, show some respect. All right, so moving up the list to number 7. Who is it? Bruce. Okay. You know, we got Dashy coming in at number 7. We got Big Bruce. Optic finally found their consistency at the back half of the season when it really mattered, winning 2 events this year, the only 2 events that people care about, right? EWC, champs, the big prize money, the ring. You know, you get that big-ass dinner plate from EWC. Yeah, I mean, Bruce was the rock in the back half of the season. These guys went back-to-back 2024 World Champs, 2025 World Champs. Talk to him nice. That man's made like over $1 million in last year. My God. I mean, so much aura. Like, you know what you're getting out of Bruce. Straight beams. Stabilize that roster so the SMGs could do their thing in the back half of the year. Obviously, him and Mercules, they just, I mean, bro, like, let's just look at the stats, because this guy, there's not a lot else to say. I mean, he was the fry man at the back half of the year. First half of the year, he was getting trolled. You know, they're playing Russian roulette with the roster. Just put one in the chamber, bang, somebody's gone. And then they figured it out. They picked up Merc. Shout out to that border agent. Shout out to Benjamin Beans. And, yeah, The rest is history, as you Greenwallers like to say, and as you like to reflect on. So, looking at Dashy's accomplishments, excusez-moi, back-to-back world champ, EWC winner. I mean, dude, only winning the big ones, that's kind of aura, bro. That's kind of aura. We gotta call a spade a spade. That's max aura. So looking at his season stats, he had a great season, like statistically. I mean, dashy numbers for sure. If you watch the whole year, you know that obviously, consequently, like first half of the year impact, second half of the year impact, very different. But his stats do not reflect that at all, which is just a testament to how consistent, how good dashy always is, right? 1.02 hardpoint KD, phenomenal, 27 a map. Control 1.14 KD, goddamn, and 23 a map if you round it, right? And S&D 1.05 and averaging about 6.6 or if you want to round 7 a map. So yeah, so that's Dashy. I mean, world champ, talk to him nice. I mean, the guy's just a beast. Like, what else is there to say? Let's go next. So looking at next, we have probably my favorite player from the Vancouver Surge who I could include on this list, Abuza. He's one of the most underrated players in the CDL since MW3, 100%. The year he won Rookie of the Year, he was definitely properly accoladed, right? But Abuza is definitely a player who flies under the radar most times, so I'm happy to see him on Vegas Faze, getting his recognition. He's definitely a top tier player, and he deserved to be on a top tier org like Faze. So, without further ado, let's get into his year. Going back to the Surge, of course, I'm putting him this high again because 4 finals appearances. I mean, you can't ignore that. Consistency, even if you're not winning, you're still getting there. You have to play the best of the best, and you have to beat them to get all the way there. And that's really hard in active competition. That kind of consistency, no matter if you win the chip or not, it's like LeBron making 11 finals. I mean, god damn, like 11 finals is crazy. Most people don't even make one. So you got to appreciate getting to the big dance. Even if you can't finish your dance and look good, you still got there and your feet still carried you to that big dance. So, Abuza was the primary slayer on that team until Neptune came in. But if we're looking at the whole year, which is what this video is based on, Abuza is your guy from the Vancouver Surge, right? Put up those numbers all year long. Neptune, no Neptune. Neptune came in around stage 2, I believe. So that's why there's no Neptune on this list. Spoiler alert. Just got to keep it, like statistically fair to everybody, right? So, if Surge managed to win just one of these finals, he's probably a top 3 player, if we're being honest. But even without a trophy, his individual year was absolutely gross. Let's look at it. 4-time grand finalist, most consistent team, as we've said before with 04. His duo, who he also went to Faze with, love to see that for them. World Championship and EWC runner-up. And then looking at his hardpoint stats, he's averaging 27 a map, and he had the same KD as Dashy. So that tells you a lot. They averaged the same amount of kills and had the same KD. Control 0.99, averaging 22 a map. This is decidedly not his mode. And then S&D 0.9, averaging about 6 a map. Pretty hard to get your averages up when you have Neptune and Nasty on your team, and 04. I mean, Nasty was just like a beacon of consistency in S&D. He averaged like probably 7 or 8. And then 04, I mean, he had so many pop-off games where he's just getting 12 kills, 11 kills. Neptune, same thing. So, yeah, Abuza, his S&D being cratered, like if you look at it in context, it makes a lot more sense than the numbers would suggest. You'd just be like, oh, this guy sucks, but he does not suck at S&D. His teammates were just literally 3 S and demons. So, looking at number 5 on our list, I feel like Leo and the Revenant. Bear with me. Sorry about the short, brief intermission between, but top 5 time. Here we go. Let's lock in. We have your boy, Mr. Shotzi, the person who probably made you click on this video if you're a Greenwaller. The playmaker, Optics, of course, star player at this point, right? The new generation scump, the GOAT of COD. I mean, what other introduction? The GOAT of FPS, possibly, and the GOAT of console esports. I mean, the playmaker, the warlord, whatever you want to call this guy, the general, the GOAT. I mean, what can't you call him at this point other than a loser, right? Or broke. Or homeless. But let's get into it. Optic winning 2 events doesn't happen without Ant. He's X Factor. He's obviously the glue of this team. When he's on, Optic is unbeatable. He's their win condition. Like, let's just call a spade a spade. He's the guy making the plays that don't even make sense on the minimap and that don't make sense to the eye. So, if Shotzi's frying, the whole team's going to be frying, and that's pretty much always been the case with Optic and every one of his teams. Like, Shotzi's just He's just that guy. I mean, he's just that guy. Like, let's just call a spade a spade. Back-to-back world champion, Esports World Cup winner, 1.07 hardpoint KD, 28 a map. God damn. 1.06 control KD, 23 a map. 1.09 S&D KD, 7 a map. I mean, and this is with him having an 0-18 thrown in the wrench, right? I mean, they had stage 2 where they famously went 0-18 before dropping Kenny before their ring ceremony. So, yeah, I mean, Shotzi had a roller coaster of a year. They started off stage 1 going like 6-1, talking all that shit, and then the picture happens, the tweet happens, and then yeah, downfall, 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 and then uptick, and then they are just up here, and now everybody's like, are they a dynasty? So, yeah, Shotzi could not have had a better 2025. I mean, the guy probably bought himself another house just to congratulate. I mean, what do you do at that point? You win back-to-back world championships. You win the EWC dinner plate. I mean, the brother's chilling. So let's get into number 4, someone who is also chilling. Number 4, we have Mr. Hydra himself. Number 4 is the French phenom, Hydra. I mean, this guy's just a beast. What else is there can say? What else is there can say? What else is there that I can say about him? What else is there to be said? LAT won 2 events, and Paco was absolutely terrifying. Bro, every time I saw this man as a Faze fan, I was absolutely shook. He's pure slaying power on the map. The only reason he isn't higher on this list is because, uh, yeah, we'll get to that in a minute. A couple of his teammates, Dan and Scrap, they were frying. So yeah, if Hydra didn't have Dan and Scrap on his team, he'd probably be number 1. If we're being honest, I mean, he probably had the most insane POV of the year that wasn't Mercules, right? Hydra's frying everybody, and this is year long. So Merc, before you guys are like, oh, he's gonna be number 1. No, sorry, he's disqualified. Merc came in at stage 3, brother. Like, what are we talking about? So yeah, Hydra was frying everyone. The stats definitely reflect that. I mean, god damn, son. 2-time major champ. Talk to that boy nicely. Talk to him right. Runner up at Major 1, of course. They famously lost the Major 1 Grand Finals in a Game 7 Round 11, right? Couldn't have been closer. And then in the HP, he had 1.14, averaging almost 29 a map. Control 1.14, averaging about 25, which is phenomenal. 25 a map in control is insane. And then he's averaging about 7 in S&D with a 1.09 KD. So him and his new teammate Abizi, I don't know if you guys are hashtag noticing, but MKD's looking very, very similar. So speaking of people who Habizi looks pretty similar to typically. Let's get in. Number 3, we have my GOAT, the guy who shares my name, Mr. Chris Simplair. Shout out to Simp, my GOAT. And yeah, did I mention he's my GOAT for the 3rd time? So now we're in the God tier. We got my GOAT, Simp, number 3. Top 3 only. Lock in, baby. Phase 1, 2 events, and in one of them, Simp obviously was the event MVP. So from here on out, just so you guys know, the top 3 for me, the differentiator was event MVPs. So just to give you guys a quick rundown of why things look the way that they did, it's literally just that. The tiebreaker is just event MVPs. Because obviously, just as a quick explanation, I couldn't put Optic that highly in good faith because Majors 1, 2, 3, and 4 fucking happened. So, I mean, that has to play a role in how we evaluate the whole year. Like if you were just pretty much not even a blip on the radar for most of the year, and then all of a sudden you become the world beaters, in a holistic year-long review, that would have to show up, right? And I feel like people in the comments should respect that. So, let's get back to the topic at hand. Simp took home the MVP of Major 1, and he had a 1.07 KD in the Grand Finals, so he's back doing Simp things. This year, he's clearly back doing Simp things. I mean, he's been absolutely frying. When he's comfortable, the league is in trouble, so everybody, better bundle up. It's about to be a cold winter, you know what I'm saying? So, let's get into his accomplishments on the season. 2-time Major champion, Major 1 MVP, runner-up at Major 4, obviously losing to LA Thieves in the grand finals. And then in terms of his season stats, 1.05 hardpoint KD, averaging about 27 per map. And then in Control he did 1.03, averaging about 23. And in SD he did 1.17, averaging 7 a map. God damn. This dude was untradeable in Search. Him and 04 about to be demons on the map, bro. Wow. Wow, wow, wow. Him, 04, and Draws as an S&D trio is going to be insane. It's literally going to be insane. I mean, as good as Abizi, Cell, and Simp were as an S&D trio, adding Draza, I mean, wow. You have Draza, Simp, and 04. So, without getting too caught in the weeds, let's get going. Let's move up. We're crawling into the number 2 spot. You know what I'm saying? You could do it too. Phase up. Oh, wait. No. Wait. That's not a thing anymore. Don't snake. The Falcons are here. Is that what we say now? Number 2, Celium, the snake, King Cobra, whatever you want to call him. Listen to the stat line. Faze wins the event. Cell drops a 1.296 to win the MVP. Dude literally dropped a 1.3. It's unfair. It's literally unfair having that guy on your team, bro. A 1.3 in this league? Brother was an absolute turret on the map at times. I mean, the thing about Cell, he makes the game look so easy. I mean, at the highest level, the top players, the top 3 to 5 players, they just make the game look different from what everyone else plays on this planet, right? Like, looking at Cell's POV is crazy. Everybody's like, oh, he's so slow, he's so slow, he's so slow. Dude, look at these stats. Let's get into his accomplishments. 2-time Major champ, MVP of Major 2 with a 1.3 tournament KD. A 1.3 tournament KD. Playing the best teams in the world and having to go through a grand final that's a best of 7, right? Runner-up at Major 4, of course, with Faze losing to the LA Thieves, coming up short. Looking at the season stats, a 1.15 in HP, averaging 26 a map. Control 1.21, averaging 22 a map. And then S&D, he had a 1.13, averaging 6 a map. So Simp had a 1.17, he had a 1.13, BZ had a 1.09. I mean, wow, these guys were S and demons. So looking at this, Cell obviously was one of the best players in the world, as per usual. And, you know, the numbers he had were definitely MVP-like, but he was not the MVP. You know who that is, ladies and gentlemen. Ba-da-da-da! At number 1, we have that boy, Scrap. At number 1, it absolutely has to be Scrappy, right? 2 event wins with the LA Thieves, 2 separate MVPs, tournament MVP at Major 3 and Major 4, 1.22 KD for Major 3, and a 1.09 KD for Major 4. He beat Faze in Major 4, obviously, and Major 3, he famously beat the Vancouver Surge, farmed them for a chip. He was the best player on, to me, the best team with the best skill ceiling, right? Back half of the year, after the month-long break, LA Thieves were not the same team at all. But after a month-long break, you have a absolutely fresh game. That's how December to January always works every single year in the CDL. You guys are probably going to be mind-blown how different the CDL looks going into the back half of Major 1 quals compared to where we ended the season in the middle of December, right? The energy, the gun skill, the consistency, Scrap was just Black Ops 6's king. He was the best player in the world. There's no debate. He's the year 6 king. He's the guy who you want on your team. First pick, first draft, overall, no matter who you're a fan of, no matter what team you support. As a FaZe fan, I always hated the prospect of them going up against Scrap. Going up against Scrap means that your team has a very, very high chance of getting put on a highlight reel. Let's look at the man's accomplishments. 2-time Major champ, 3-time MVP, Stage 3, Major 3 MVP, right? Stage 4, Major 4 MVP, and he won the MVP of the whole damn season. Okay? 1.11 KD in HP, averaging 28 a map. 1.14 control KD, averaging 24 a map. And then in S&D, he had a 1.18, averaging 7 a map. This dude's literally the best player in the world, and there's no debate around that, right? Clearly, if you have these numbers, you are the guy. So, that's where I'm going to leave this video. Hope you guys have a great morning, noon, or night, like I always say. Hope you enjoyed this video. If you didn't, be sure to come back. I will be bringing you some more fresh content, some more new ideas. Just going to keep, doing my thing here. Thank you for all the love you guys have shown this month. 80,000 views on the tube is fucking insane. I really appreciate you guys. This has been insane. This year will only get better. I'm going to match all the support that you guys give me with more effort, more content, better content. And yeah, I'm just trying to be your favorite YouTube Call of Duty content creator in this 2026 season. I hope you guys continue to fuck with me like I'm fucking with y'all. And yeah, I'll catch you guys on the next one. That's my list. 2 wins for Faze. LA Thieves and Optic made this really hard to rank, honestly. Yeah, but Scrappy's double MVP, winning Major 3 and Major 4 MVP, as well as winning the season MVP, made it pretty obvious, right? I mean, let me know in the comments. Did I gas the Surge players too much for making finals? Should I have included other people in this top 10, regardless of their entry point into the CDL, such as Neptune, Mercules? Did I snub someone from Optic like Hook? Drop your top 10 down below. Let me know what you guys think. Your top 10s obviously don't have to be a result of tournament placings and stats like mine are, but I just wanted to give you guys the most objective top 10 where if you're someone who doesn't watch COD, you're not a fan of any team, you could look at it and say, hey, this guy gave me a list that I can at least compare apples to oranges and say, hey, I do value the fact that Optic won the last 2. I see where you're coming from. They were kind of dead all year. They turned up. Respect that. But I think winning the best 2 tournaments of the season that are offered makes you the de facto best player in the world. I understand that, but this is just a purely statistical, purely numbers driven analysis of who the best players in the world were this season. Hope you guys enjoyed. Hope you enjoy my rationale. And I'll catch you guys in the next one. Hope you have a great morning, noon, or night, like I always say. And I'll see you then. Peace.